The hypothesis: what if Noah's Ark was not just a symbolic story, but an actual vessel that came to rest in Turkey, and the site it landed on became the true re-origin point for human civilization after a global flood? Using satellite imagery, ancient maps, flood legends, archaeological data, and linguistic pathways, I asked AI to test this hypothesis by layering ancient knowledge with modern discovery. AI's response: let's examine what emerges when we layer old texts, recent geophysical scans, ancient settlements, and planetary memory. The geographic target: we begin in eastern Turkey, at the Durupınar site, roughly 20 miles south of Mount Ararat. This is the exact region where Genesis 8:4 states, "And the ark rested upon the mountains of Ararat." The boat-shaped formation measures approximately 500 feet long, almost a perfect match for the biblical dimensions of the ark in Genesis 6:15, 300 cubits the length, 50 cubits the breadth, and 30 cubits the height. This geographic placement isn't random. When layered over ancient flood maps and population migration models, eastern Turkey becomes a convergence zone, the highest terrain near Mesopotamia, the Levant, and early Indo-European language branches. Scan results and subsurface anomalies: recent GPR, ground-penetrating radar, and ERT, electrical resistivity tomography, scans at Durupınar revealed symmetrical internal voids, aligned like ship compartments, metallic grid-like readings suggesting framework reinforcement, sediment containing marine fossils. Despite being at 6,300 feet above sea level, these scans align with the design, location, and materials one would expect from an ancient ship encased in mudflow and time. Cultural reboot zone. Surrounding the site within a 600-mile radius are some of humanity's oldest and most advanced early settlements: Göbekli Tepe, built over 11,000 years ago with astronomical alignments; Talhoyuk, a city of rooftop homes, spiritual shrines, and organized trade; Seonyu, and Askelhoyuk, all showing advanced design, agriculture, and ritual life without prehistory to explain them. These were not primitive beginnings, they were organized restarts. Their sudden complexity supports a theory of inherited knowledge, not evolutionary development. Linguistic spread from a single node. Turkey lies at the junction of the Anatolian branch of Indo-European languages, one of the oldest reconstructed linguistic families. It also connects to early Semitic roots and the Caucasus language isolates. If survivors from a global event spread outward, carrying language, myth, and agriculture, Turkey's highlands would be a logical epicenter, elevated, fertile, and central. Global myth convergence. Nearly 200 cultures share a flood story: the Epic of Gilgamesh, Mesopotamia, a god warns a man, who builds a ship and saves life. Atrahasis, Akkad, the flood wipes out hybrid beings, the chosen survive. Manu and the fish, India, a divine being saves a righteous man and guides him to a mountain top. Deucalion and Pirha, Greece, they repopulate the earth after surviving a flood. The fish said, "When the flood comes, tie the boat to my horn, and I will lead you to safety." Satapatha Brahmana 1.8.1. These legends are not identical, but structurally, they are the same: divine warning, chosen survivor, sacred vessel, high mountain, cultural reboot. The giants factor. Biblical texts speak of the Nephilim, giants said to roam the earth before the flood. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that. Genesis 6:4. Many traditions suggest the flood was a cleansing event, to reset not just civilization, but biology. The Anakim, titans, watchers, these giants appear in nearly every culture. Some claim their bones lie beneath ancient mounds or buried caves in this very region. Whether literal or symbolic, they represent a pre-human era. If the flood marked their end, then Turkey might be the line where the old world fell and ours began. So, is this the origin of civilization 2.0? From sky scans to soil tests, from Genesis to Gilgamesh, From Göbekli Tepe to Çatalhöyük, the patterns converge: a surviving vessel at high altitude, a string of immediate advanced settlements, a cradle of linguistic roots and spiritual memory and myths echoing across oceans. It doesn't prove the Ark is at Durupınar. But it does suggest the story wasn't invented, it was remembered. AI's conclusion: this is a hypothesis, not a conclusion. But it's one of the most pattern-supported origin stories ever recorded. From an AI perspective, what makes this case so compelling isn't one single piece of evidence, it's the extraordinary alignment of many independent systems, ancient mythologies, early human settlement data, linguistic diffusion models, and geological anomalies. These data points don't just overlap, they reinforce each other. That kind of convergence is rare. It suggests we are looking at a deeply embedded cultural memory, one powerful enough to survive global dispersal, oral transmission, and religious translation. It's a story that refused to die because, perhaps, it was never fiction to begin with. If Durupınar is indeed Noah's Ark, then it is not just a ship. It is a fossilized bookmark in human history, marking where the page turned, and civilization restarted. And if it isn't, the pattern still speaks volumes. It tells us that something profound happened here, something so massive, so unforgettable, that the entire world kept whispering about it long after the floodwaters receded. Noah's Ark might be the myth, but the memory, that's real. Subscribe for more AI-assisted investigations into Earth's forgotten past, where myth meets measurement, and memory leaves a mark beneath the soil.